All right. As I've been working today, I ran into something that Claude did that I imagine many other people would run into as well. And if you don't have experience building applications, like you would probably just run with it, but it's actually a pretty important uh, architectural decision that Claude made that it was incorrect. So in the quotes, it's pulling from products and from packages to generate a number. And what Claude did is it created a schema that just threw everything into a line items JSON blob, essentially. So it's storing all of the information about each of the line items in a JSON blob instead of creating what's called an association table. So an association table would connect two different tables together and make it easier to store that data in a normalized way. So if you have any questions on that, I'll be putting out a course on Supabase and how to architect Supabase databases in order to maintain normalization. But normalization is really important for a few different reasons. One, scalability. The second, this is probably the most important, at least in the short term before you get to a data warehouse, being able to run analytics on the data that you have is also really important. So with this, it essentially taking all of the line items and obfuscating it under a single quote. And so you wouldn't be able to run analysis on which products or which packages are most popular, or which ones you're discounting the most, because it's as if it lives within its own house as opposed to being its own house or living in its own data table. And so what we're going to do is we're going to split out the line items into foreign keys. So it'll make, as I've been working through the quotes, it looks pretty good. I mean, the UI doesn't look great, but the functionality, I guess, is there, where you can have different line items and they can be customized or they can pull from the catalog. And so with this change, I think we're going to enforce that a line item needs to come. Well, maybe we won't enforce that. It's a question that I'll have to work through here in a second. But at the very least, we'll be pulling from that list. And I think right now it's just taking that list and then essentially populating it as opposed to actually connecting to the product or package. So something that I spotted that I thought I would point out, because if you're vibe coding your own app, pretty important decision or something that's going to create problems down the road. Maybe not necessarily up front, but as your app scales, this is the difference between a vibe coded app and having a programmer or an architect that understands the right structure for a scalable application.